Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Claims and objections filed over voter roll revision in Bihar will be considered even if they are filed after September 30th. This is what Election Commission said today during a hearing in the Supreme Court today. Now, the top court was hearing pleas which were filed by states' political leaders praying for extension of the September 1st deadline to file claims and objections to the draft list published by the poll body. Supreme Court during the hearing noted that the poll body has assured that claims and objections can be filed even after September 30th and that the revisions will continue till the last date of filing of nominations. The order came while a bench comprising Justice Suryakant and Justice Joy Malia Bakshi was considering the applications filed by political parties seeking to extend the deadline by 2 weeks. Now, the Supreme Court, what has it said exactly? And I'm going to quote, as regards the extension of time, note says that filing of claims and objections or corrections is not barred after 1st September. It is stated that the claims, objections, corrections can be submitted even after the deadline, and the same will be considered after roll has been finalized. Process will continue until the last date of nominations, and all inclusions, exclusions are integrated in the final roll. In the light of this stand, let the claims, objections, corrections be continued to be filed. Meanwhile, the political parties and petitioners may submit their affidavits in response to the note. Now, during the hearing, the RJD's counsel, Prashant Bhushan, argued that in its earlier order, the court had said that the Aadhaar should also be accepted as a document, but the Election Commission did not clarify which documents were being attached with the re-enumeration forms. Then he also claimed that many forms have been filled in by the BLOs themselves. He also flagged that while some voters were receiving notices about incomplete documents, the commission was not being transparent. So apart from the extension of the deadline, the court has also said, and in fact, the court has directed the State Legal Authority of Bihar to appoint the paralegal volunteers to assist the BLAs, to assist the political parties and assist the citizens as well who are facing problems with their documents. Now, is this a case of too many cooks spoiling the broth? The court is not dealing still with the moot question, whether it is legal for touching upon the legality or the constitutionality of the SIR. It is getting into processes like these where it is widening the ambit of confusion. And all in all, it looks like that now there are too many players. Earlier you had a BLA, then you had a BLO, and now you have these para-legal volunteers. Now, what is the competence and what is the efficiency of these para-legal volunteers? From where are they coming? How neutral are they? Are they not inclined more towards the government? All these are questions and which force one to think that the process is being made more chaotic. Joining me this evening is a lawyer and activist Arun Agarwal, who's been watching the developments very, very closely. He's filed various petitions, and especially the election petitions. Arun Agarwal joins us this evening. Thank you so much, Arunji, for joining. Are you there? Has Arunji joined? Okay, so let me tell you exactly till the time he joins that Supreme Court clarified that those left out of the draft voter list could submit claims with Aadhaar or other documents. Now, the bench noted that Aadhaar's importance would be limited to what is provided under current law and that the court could not enhance its significance beyond existing provisions. Now, what does the EC lawyer say on SIR? That is also something which is very important. Rakesh Dwivedi, lawyer representing Election Commission, told the various TV channels, because he spoke to a number of them after that the final list will be published on October 1st. And anyone not included in the list can still file claims or objections. People will be verified and included if they file claim before the last date of nomination of candidates. The schedule for SIR will be followed, but process of claims and objections is separate. Now, he further told the court that 7.24 crore people were covered in the exercise and 99.5% of voters had already submitted their documents. He added that most political parties and voters were not applying to add names but to remove them, which was unusual. Now, we do not know as to how to read this situation currently, but the commission also informed the court that lists of deleted names had been published on the websites of district election officers and the chief electoral officer, Bihar, and advertised in newspapers as well. It maintained that the Supreme Court's earlier order had been fully complied with, adequate time was available, and claims or objections could be filed at any stage. SC orders deployment for volunteers. Now, as I was telling you, and this is the most worrisome part of it, when I say the Supreme Court has spoken about volunteers, because as I was saying that earlier, it was the BLA, then the BLOs, and now come into picture these legal volunteers. Now, the court has directed the executive chairman of the Bihar State Legal Services Authority to issue instructions by tomorrow before noon to all district legal services authorities to depute or notify para-legal volunteers along with their names and mobile numbers to assist individual voters and political parties in the online submission of claims, objections, or corrections. Arunji is back with us. Thank you so much, Arunji, for joining this evening. I really want to understand from you the appointment of these volunteers, the para-legal volunteers, and also Supreme Court has, and in fact, Election Commission has extended the deadline for the claims and objections, saying that it can carry on till the last date of nomination. Now, what does it mean? Because the mainstream media is reporting as if it's coming out as a big breather for the voters. It's a big relief. That's what the mainstream media is reporting. But what's the actual story according to you?
Good evening, Neelu. See, the actual story is that the extension of the deadline is nothing but a Pyrrhic victory for the opposition or for anybody else. The process that when the draft roll became the final roll and when the elections were due, you were allowed to raise objections and to have inclusions right up to the date of the nomination. And that is how they were manipulating the electoral rolls. If you will recall, during the Delhi elections, Arvind Kejriwal had lined up a number of people whose names had been deleted, and they were resident voters of that particular his constituency. So this goes on right till the end, and then those names, there is a supplementary list that is not included as a final list. So what happens is that you are deleting names at a last moment about which the candidate can do nothing, and thereby rig the elections, which was widespread and it was happening all over the country. Now what happens is that when you have an electoral draft roll where there is a intensive survey, this word special is a superfluous word, and it has been included only to include all the whistles and bells or the hera fairy attached with the intensive survey. So in that, after the draft roll, the final roll comes. After the final roll, you can't add or delete. You can only go through the appeal process, which they didn't want to do. So the concession that they have given is a mixture of the summary and the intensive revision. And this is being seen as a victory. But then this will also enable the Bhajpa and the ruling party to manipulate the electoral roll in collusion with the BLO and the ERO right up to the date of the nomination. So this, they should be very much aware that if the manipulations of the past are any indication, this is not a good step, number one. And then you can't do anything. You can't go to court. You can't do, the elections will be held. He will be declared elected, and the court, instead of deciding the matter in 6 months, will take 6 years to decide the matter, and the term of the Vidhan Sabha or the parliament will be over. This is the old story. One can go into the background and check it. This is the first part of this thing where they have extended the date. Instead of deciding the issue, they have kept on postponing it. Now come to the next part, the inclusion of these paralegal this thing, and to be notified. First of all, there is a conflict of interest because Honorable Justice Suryakant himself is ex officio the chairman of the National Legal Service Authority. And he is deploying his own staff, which is works under him. And not only he's not deploying the lawyers in it, he's saying the paralegal volunteers. Now, does the paralegal guy have a choice but not to volunteer? Plus, he will have his own political affiliation. He is not a statutory this thing. He does not find a mention in the electoral these these guidelines or manuals that you have. He's got no statutory status, and yet he's, at least the BLA has a mention in the electoral manuals. Over here, paralegal person of the district, I don't know what is his qualification, his competence to this thing, and then there will be a conflict of interest, conflict of authority, and one doesn't know what they will do. And they have to give their report in a sealed cover. That sealed cover will be collated at the district judge level, and it will go to the state chief. From there, probably it will go to this thing. So once again, we have this introduction of sealed cover, this thing which was being eschewed earlier, for thank God. So all these things, and the last, that Aadhaar, that is a very vital part, because the election commission has deliberately been ignoring the orders of the Supreme Court, or maybe in spite of that it is ignoring it. The last time also, for the last 4 or 5 hearings, they have said include Aadhaar. They have taken the stand that it is not a proof of citizenship, but a derivative, a document which is made by Aadhaar is acceptable, but not Aadhaar. It is the most silly thing that they have said. Now they have said include it. Right from the day one when Justice Dhulia was there, they have chosen not to. Even last time when we were wondering that how dare these BLO, disobey the order of the Supreme Court. Now it transpires that they had specific instructions from the lawyer, Honorable Mr. Dwivedi, the Election Commission, down to the Chief Electoral Officer, down to the District Electoral Officer, down to ERO, down to BLO. Don't obey the Supreme Court. Don't take Aadhaar. Take Aadhaar only for the 65 deleted names. Now, if this is the type of contempt of court by the statutory authority, and the court doesn't take cognizance of it, and then in the order doesn't even mention it, once again mentions it orally, what remains? I mean, the entire country is in a turmoil. The state is in a turmoil. We are incurring huge economic losses by people being on the road. There is emotional turmoil. And these people are living in their ivory towers, not addressing the issue. There is nothing more important in the court today than the issue of stolen votes and the SIR. And the sooner the honorable judges get together and resolve the legal issues, the better it will be for the entire nation. Otherwise, these ad hoc orders are only complicating things, and they are multiplying authorities. They're doing nothing else.
What I don't understand, that these two political parties, RJD and AIMIM, when they were asking for the extension, and if this is what Election Commission had to say, and this is how the Supreme Court had to intervene, did the Supreme Court and forget Election Commission, but did the Supreme Court, in fact, Justice Suryakant and Justice Joy Malia Bagchi, didn't they realize that already there is so much of chaos on the ground, and they are adding another layer of these legal volunteers? Will they not complicate the process further? Are the courts not thinking from that aspect as at all, from the voters' perspective?
They are thinking more the merrier. If there is a legal authority, it will be a neutral body, or it will help. You see, right now, last time they said there are so many. Why are the political parties and BLA not getting involved? When Pawan Khera says that there were 89 lakh applications, they have turned it down. Then the Election Commission is saying that it has to come in a particular format. Now, why are you not resolving these issues? It is established that the opposition and the Election Commission are antagonists to each other. They are not seeing eye to eye. Election Commission is seen as an extension of the government in power. The government in power and its allies are not coming in court and saying that, why have you tampered the electoral roll? It's only the opposition parties. if you don't enjoy the trust of the opposition parties and conduct elections, and then there is a boycott or a public furore, then what happens? I mean, you can't take and wish all these things very lightly and keep on passing ad hoc orders. It's time that they got serious, decide the three issues which were identified on day one of the hearing by Justice Dhulia. And if they can't, and if he thinks he can't do it, let him refer the matter to the Chief Justice so that 5-member bench can decide this issue. This is too important an issue to be left for ad hoc orders. It has to be decided finally.
What about this particular order or this intervention of today? Would it not be equivalent to an ad hoc
order? It is
order?
in line with what is happening in the past. Ad hocism. Okay. A panchayati type of order. ठीक है, extend it. Yes, we extend it. Why do you extend it? Do you know the implication of extending it? First of all, the electoral roll should freeze 1 month before. And during that 1 month, no vote should be added, and if anything is there, that should be out in the open. You will never...
What are your concerns, Arunji, as an activist?
My concern is that
I'm saying, just hear me out. The question which I'm wanting to ask you is that if they've extended the deadline for the claims and objections, what kind of a manipulation can you expect during this period? Because now they have an extended period.
I expect the same manipulation which was going on earlier. That is, the electoral roll will be manipulated right up to the date of the nomination by the BLA and the BLO, BLA of the ruling party for illicit consideration. If you want me to spell it out, money involved is huge. For 100 votes, if somebody is offered 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, he will not say no. Addition and deletion. And that is 10% of the votes. And that is what has been happening, and that is what will happen. That is what Arvind Kejriwal paraded all those people at the last moment. And at that last moment, the candidates are not aware because they are busy in getting their nomination, filing their nomination, and setting up the infrastructure to fight the election, which is merely a month away. And then the election roll is frozen. You win on that election. You go, and by the time you say that it was a rigged electoral roll, the court will take another 5 years to decide the matter.
Right. So, which means that already, would it be right to say that courts, in a way, are supplementing the election commission to carry out this kind of a collusion, manipulation?
Yes. If they are good intention, they should appoint an amicus curiae or a committee of lawyers to see to it as an oversight to the election commission, and to see to it that elections are conducted on an accurate electoral roll, and not on an electoral roll which favors the ruling party and on which the entire country thinks that not only this election but past elections have been rigged, which is the slogan on the street. I'm sorry to say, but Honorable Justice Suryakant may not have had the time to go through what is happening on the streets, because mainstream media doesn't report it on the front page, and the committed media, which is owned by all these tycoons, they don't report it in the
media. The mainstream media, it seems, is projecting as if it's coming up as a big breather, and that's what they want people to believe.
Yes, so then it becomes, gratifying. Oh, we have done the right thing. That's what they want to hear. That's why those media are there, for money. I'm quite sure that, I'm not being sarcastic, but that Justice Suryakant doesn't have time to look at what is happening in the social media.
But will the political party...
He is a very busy person. His docket is full. He hardly has time.
No, but Mr. Agarwal, do you think that the opposition parties would now question this process? They themselves wanted extension of deadline. Now RJD and AIMIM will have nothing to say. They will say, okay, we've got an extension. Now what to do?
You got an extension. Now the question is, first you said in the court that not a single party came, only one party came and gave one objection. Now when Pawan Khera says that 89 lakh applications were there, they didn't take it. They said you use the proper form, you come in a proper manner. Heads I win, tails you win, tails you lose. So election commission, whatever you do is wrong. If you point out that the BLO and the ERO have manipulated the electoral roll in Madhavpura, as Rahul Gandhi did, instead of taking action against the government employees who are not even your employees, you are defending them tooth and nail as if you had instructed them to manipulate the electoral roll in favor of the ruling party. That is a complete giveaway. It defies the bureaucratic this thing of fixing accountability. So you are seeing, you think people, he is the only chief election commissioner who has been there. There have been 14 persons who have been chief election commissioners. None of them found it proper to do a special revision since 203, and none of them found it to be proper to do it within 2 months. And when they did it, they exempted those states which were going for immediate elections.
No, so
He's a genius.
Right. No, but do you think that the opposition parties will not make a hue and cry now, because each time
opposition party, please, what I read about the opposition party, they have lost faith. They are not even going to the court. The court is asking you, come to me. They have hit the streets. They have taken the argument to the common man because probably they feel they will not be heard in the court. That in itself, the court should examine why we have come to such an impasse.
No, but even during the public campaign, this neutrality of the legal volunteers, will it become a big issue now with the opposition parties? Because already the BLOs are compromised. We've discussed that many times. But what about these paralegal volunteers?
You see, wrongly or rightly, the privileged class and the employed class are seen to be coming from the upper caste. And that is one of the matters of campaign in this thing. Most of them are supporters of a particular political party. So they have an inherent bias. There is no political neutrality involved. So if you have deployed some people who are non-statutory people, who don't find a mention, now if they start certifying and then you say, no, my paralegal staff has certified that whatever the BLO and BLA of the Bhajpa is doing is right, and I have it all in a sealed cover, which I will not reveal, then it also again becomes a Kafka's type of situation. What used to happen in Gogoi's time, everything under sealed cover. So, I mean, it is a very sorry thing. I personally feel he should have not involved the paralegal staff in the district level, more so when he is presiding over them. So that's also a very unfortunate development.
No, but all in all, sir, how will you look at the two interventions that are made today? Does it drag the SIR case? Does
Yes.
it complicate it further? Does it make it more complex and allow the ruling party and the election commission to indulge into more fakery, indulge into more manipulation?
See, there is that old saying about, the cure being worse than the disease. So whatever is being suggested is going to make it much worse. And the ground realities in Bihar are very different from some other states. You see, government officers, BLO, election commissioners, all of them have lost their credibility. And in that, if you are trying to stand by them, then there will be a time when they will ask, why did the Supreme Court not resolve this issue when it identified it in the very first hearing? They will ask this question. Why did you allow the appointment of Gyanesh Kumar when the matter was pending with you? And when all these cheating allegations were coming, still you did not find time after 6 months to take up the issue and decide it? Are people fools? Will they not ask these questions? Are they not legitimate questions?
And to top it all, they have still not dealt with a very basic question that whether this SIR is legal or not. They're going on adding layers after layers.
3 issues were involved. Is SIR legal? Is the procedure legal? Do we have enough time? As simple as that. And arguments were made why it was illegal and why the procedure was definitely illegal. And time definitely was short, as people have been. All those arguments, you get some order, interim order, again interim, chalte jao bhai. And if you remember, on day one, I had predicted this, that SIR will be allowed and Aadhaar will be allowed. Nothing else will happen.
Mr. Agarwal, so what is finally it's going to result into? The kind of concerns which now might come up, what are the challenges you see now? The paralegal volunteers, what kind of problems will now come up once they come into the picture? Will political parties face more trouble? Will the voters now will have to go through more complex situations than what they were facing already?
No, I don't know. You see, I can say one thing for definite. Preparation of an error-free electoral roll is a difficult task. More so when the BLOs and the EROs have been bought by heavy amount of money, which the government and the courts have done nothing to check. Once that happens, and no matter whatever you do in the time that is available, you will have an electoral roll in which at least 10 to 15% of the voters will be denied. And there will be bogus names in that electoral roll. I can guarantee that, because this is what has been happening and will keep it on happening, especially when after all this, the election commission was scared two hoots and did not run the deduplication of the voter software, which the reporters collective and the what do you call, the individual political parties are able to run and point out and see 100 people in 900 people in one house, see one voter so many times it is repeated. So what is happening? Don't you lose credibility every day when such instances are shown in the social media? And then when you are faking signatures, faking uploading, and come to the election to the court and say that 99.2% or whatever of the elected have filled their form and submitted it. I mean, it is like a student getting 120 out of 100 marks. It is totally impossible. Anybody who's been in the bureaucracy. And if that lie is accepted by the court, then what remains?
Right. But what can you now expect now, because the next hearing is coming up on 8th of September? Do you think that they will take into consideration all these days now when the paralegal volunteers will start their work? Now, I don't know how really the courts would take up this matter.
Oh, no, some order will be passed and then they will say that now we have also heard the political parties. See, political parties did not go to the court, and that's why they made them a party, implemented them as a party.
Yes.
So, I mean, look, court should realize that whatever orders you pass, if people don't believe in it or people
Absolutely.
don't accept it, and if it is at variance with the ground reality, ultimately another institution loses its credibility.
Absolutely.
And that is the only institution which has, I mean, the other day you have this lady judge saying that whatever credibility of the collegium is left, that will also diminish. You only read out that particular sentence. So if
No, my last question before I wind up, Mr. Agarwal, is that I'm pained to ask you, but this entire hearing on the SIR case, does it appear as a sham? Because there are no processes followed. Some random ad hoc orders, as you described, are given. Then again, there are a lot of problems compounding on the ground, which everybody is dismissing. And if the political parties raise the issue, then you say all sorts of things about them. Be supportive of the election commission, against which the allegations are that they are colluding to manipulate. So what is the meaning ultimately of this kind of a hearing which is going on in the Supreme Court on the SIR case?
I will not say at this stage that it is a sham, but let me on a very serious note say something which I am reluctant to say, but anyway, I'll say it. And I hope somebody conveys this to the Honorable Justice Suryakant. You see, if ultimately at the end of the day, whatever verdict he passes, and it is found to be wanting and people don't accept it, then tongues will wag. then they will say at that point that all this exercise that was going on was a sham. So there is far more on stake as far as the credibility of the Supreme Court is concerned in this particular case, and much more as far as Justice Suryakant is concerned, because already there are people who are saying things, and that article that is there in Caravan of 30th January 2019, having the reply of the then Justice Goel on record. So things are not looking very good. I personally feel that he should recuse, and he should form, and he should consult the Chief Justice, form a bench of 5 judges, take the matter on day-to-day this thing, hear the matter, hear the 3 issues that were this thing, and give a verdict, whichever way. With a 5-judge, people will say, will accept it. You see, here, if it goes this way or that way, one portion of this thing will not accept it. And right
And
now,
one key question, there's a slight confusion on that, if you may just clarify before I wind up the show, that these para-legal volunteers who will now be appointed. Now, does Election Commission in any of its manual or through any law has the power to appoint these para-legal volunteers? From where will they come all of a sudden?
no, these are judge-appointed authorities, volunteers. They have no statutory basis. They have no mention. Nobody imagined that this would come to a pass, that this type of a resolution would be done through the para. I mean, if you asked somebody before this thing, 500 lawyers, that can you imagine what will happen? None of them would have ever imagined that the paralegal, this thing of the would be legal service authority would be involved, and seal cover would happen. Nobody would have guessed it. We try to second guess the judges, but in this case, it would be absolutely no.
Right. All right, so we'll have to end it here. But highly unfortunate the way things would be unfolding now on the ground, and mainstream media makes it look like as if it's such a big breather. But all we've discussed for the last 32 minutes is how complicated now this entire will be on the ground.
I wish in the next hearing, if all the political parties are represented, they make a representation, or they move a petition requesting Honorable Suryakant to constitute a larger bench and hear the matter completely and decide the issues. I wish that they do it and he accepts it.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal, for joining on HW. Thank you.